welcome back for another video. I'm Jess and I'm one of the creative designers here at Sizzix. Today I am super excited to share with you all the techniques to make this gorgeous bunny wreath with two of my new florals for chapter 1. I'm going to show you the dies, but I'm going to show you all the techniques to make up one of these gorgeous roses with the crepe paper, and then I'm going to show you some sculpting foam techniques to make up those daisy elements as well, and I'll show you how to do the bunny wreath shape and everything in between, ready for spring and Easter, whether it's going on your front door or in your house, wherever you want it. So these are the two dies that I'm going to be using. It's very exciting for me because they are both my dies. So we've got the daisy flower mix, which is this little one here, and I can show you guys how to make that up. There's multiple ways that you can do this, but I'm just going to show you one of them with sculpting foam. And then we've also got the garden rose, which is a little bit more complex, but it is beautiful once it's all done. And with that crepe paper, it looks absolutely stunning. So we're just going to jump straight in, okay? Okay guys, so I'm going to start by showing you how you put together your bunny wreath. Now I've used like grapevine wreaths, you could use rattan or whatever it is at your local craft store, but you basically want one larger and one smaller one because they're going to sit on top, and that's going to create that kind of head and bunny and body shape, sorry, a bunny body shape. And then we're going to attach the ears. So how you want to do the little ears is you can take grapevine that's already loose, it's not in a wreath shape, and that means you can manipulate it however you want. And what I like to do is I just take some wire, this is just some brown craft wire, and I wrap it around, and this actually pulls it all together, so it makes it really nice and thin, so you get that kind of thin shape, okay? And then what you just want to do is you want to cross them over and push it together so you get that shape, okay? That's the shape that we're after. And then you can just take your wire again and you simply hold it in place and wrap your wire really nice and tight around, in between, underneath, and do it across until it's pretty much firmly in place. So just do it however many times you need to until it is fully secure. If you feel like this is a bit difficult, what we can do is we can just take some tweezers, some pliers, sorry, and just snip that off so it's not attached to that whole bit. And then you can do it separately like that. So that's probably a little bit easier way of doing it. And then you can wrap it around multiple times until it's fully secure. And don't worry if you've got a little bit extra at the bottom. And just snip that off. There we go. And you have your ear that looks like that. So once it's all secure, I've got two where I've wrapped around plenty of wire around those bases of the ears, and then you have two there. So then you just want to attach them all together again with your wire. You can just use a little bit of hot glue as well just to secure them in place, but I find that the wire is the best way. So round there we're going to wrap around the wire and then pop the ears just behind the very top two pieces and wrap the wire around as well. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I've just trimmed off my wire. You can always go back and add a little bit more if you feel like it needs securing. Sweep away all the excess. And then you have your little bunny wreath. So that is super cute just on its own, but we're gonna make it even more special and we're gonna add those florals. So let's just grab those. So like I said, we're gonna make the garden rose and the daisy. I'm gonna start with that garden rose just because this one is a little bit more complex and and I know a few people have been asking how to make this one, so I'm going to show you. So we need some crepe paper. So I'm just going to use the lilac colour from this set, and I've actually pre-cut pretty much all of them, but I'm going to get them all out and then we're going to run through exactly what we need to do. Okay, so I've laid everything out. I've pre-cut quite a lot of the petals, but I'm going to show you a tip for cutting petals with crepe paper anyway. So let's just show you on the smallest section. So this is going to be your center petals almost, and we're going to cut these with that lilac crepe paper, like I said. So I've got my scissors, they're down here. And the way that you want to cut crepe paper, it's really important to remember, is you want to cut with the grain, okay? So you can see the petal from top to bottom, not side to side. You want the grain to work from top to bottom. So you want to cut it this way, not this way. So that would be the same for all the petals. So this larger one from top to bottom. So your grain of the paper is going to work that way when you cut, okay? So I'm just going to cut a little bit. And you just want to cut it roughly to the shape, and then I'm going to roll it through our machine. So I'm actually going to use the switch machine today. And actually, even though I've pre-cut a lot of them, it would really help if I was doing all of this at once, because I have so much space on that switch machine. So that is a massive plus if you are making flowers, because you're going to want to fit quite a lot of these dies all on one pass through the machine, and that's going to save you tons of time. So we're just going to place that on there. Sandwich it up just like a thinlit, switch it on, and then feed it through. And because I've even only got a little bit and I haven't filled the whole thing, I'm just going to press that switch button and it's going to come straight back, so I don't need to wait for the whole thing. And there we go. So pop that again to one side, and you have these center pieces. So I'm going to quickly run through about the amount that you want for each petal, and then I'm going to show you guys how to piece it together. So your very center section is this piece, and you want one of these in a different color. I tend to use a pale yellow or a white or a pale pink, because it's going to be the stamen section of your flower. Then you're going to want one of this. So this is going to be the next step. So just one of these ones, and that's all attached. This one that we just cut, you want 5 of these. So cut this strip 5 times. Then this one is your next one. Cut that about 3 times. You could do more. I always say with petals, you could do it with flowers. Sorry, you can do more petals if you want it fuller, but this is just the minimum. And then these 2 larger ones, again, about 3 or 4 for each, okay? And that's the beauty of this die, because it has 2 petals on each piece of metal. It means that you're not cutting individual petals each time, so you can do it less times, less cutting, okay? So once you've got those, I'm gonna run through a couple of techniques of how to shape your petals. So for this center section, the way you want to do it is you want to twist every little bit, and you just want to twist that in your finger, and your hands are going to be a great tool for all of this sculpting. So just like so, and that's going to be our center bit, okay? And then again with this piece here, is what you can do is you just want to kind of fold it in half on each bit and give it a twist, okay? Don't worry about breaking the paper. Just twist it all up like so, and then you can actually pull it back apart. Okay, so those are our 2 center pieces done. So we're going to pop those to one side. Then you want to bring in this section, and how you want to do this is, again, fold it in half and twist each petal. Okay, and that smaller one, pop that one to one side. You'll notice that one's slightly thinner, that one to one side, and then these 2, we're going to pull those back out And then you can put them on top of one another and pull them with your finger to create that cup shape, okay? Then we're gonna bring in our trusty hot glue gun. I find that hot glue guns are the best way to make flowers, whether you're doing paper, crepe paper, sculpting foam. It dries quick, it's nice and easy to use. I just prefer it. So we just do a strip of hot glue just along here, and then measure that up. Okay, so it's just glued on one side. Then we do one more, again on the top. Fold it in half, and then you've still got that petal behind is still slightly free, okay? That's what we want. Then you do a little bit of an L shape with your glue, okay? So you go up along the side, and then towards the center of the petal, and then kind of fold it down. Yeah, so we've got that little kind of mini cup. And then you just do one more piece of glue along there, and then press it against the side of the petal that we've got that mini section in. And it means you've got like a mini kind of petal inside your other one, okay? Then we're gonna bring back that little small one. And pull it out, and then we're just going to take a little bit of wire. This can be a lot smaller. I can trim this down, and then we're just going to attach that to the back. Place your wire on there, and then before that sets, pop this other piece over the top to cover it, and then kind of let it engulf the other two petals a little bit, okay? And these are going to be your kind of center sections and create that really iconic garden rose shape. And what you want is you want 5 of these. So I've actually already done them. They're a bit flat because I did them earlier, but you can just shape them back out, and then you want 5. So once you've got 5 of these, one of those and the stamen, you can start to piece together, and I'm going to piece that all together with some hot glue. Okay, so we've got the first step all done. So you can see I just wrapped some florist tape around the wire to make sure it's all connected. And I actually used the florist tape and the wire from our floral accessory kit that also comes with the wooden beads. I don't need the wooden bead for this particular flower, but you might use it for a lot of other of our crepe paper flowers in particular. But the tape just works great at hiding all those imperfections and combining all of those wires. So that is our first section all done. You can see how fluffy and beautiful that looks in the center. And now we're going to move on to the next layer. So the next one is going to be these ones that are not much bigger than the previous ones, but you need, like I said, about 3 cuttings of these, so you get about 6 petals. And this one is exactly the same in the way that we sculpt these. So again, we fold them in half, twist them, and then once it's twisted, it's going to have that nice scrunched effect. And then we just pull them apart, and then just pull apart with your fingers. And then we're going to glue those all around the outside, kind of filling the gaps and creating a bit of a circle around what we've already got. Okay, so we've popped all those flowers around there, and you can start to see it's coming together as an actual flower now. So now we're going to move on to those 2 larger sections. So it's going to go to this one next. And I've already pre-cut all of them, and then we're gonna do this one just to finish it off, so they're the two last ones. Okay, so again, you want about 6 petals, so about 3 cuts. And we're gonna sculpt these ones a little differently this time. So we're going to take our fold and form tool. So this is our Sizzix fold and form, and it has this little gap here. And what you wanna do is you wanna slot your crepe paper into the fold and form. It's a little delicate, so just be careful. Hold on to the base, and then you want to pull towards you and you get that curve, okay? So I'll just do it with another one just to show you. So again, hold on to the base, pull towards you, curve your wrist, and then you get that gorgeous curve, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to turn it away from you, so the curve is away from you, and then you take it in your fingers, in your thumbs, and then pull. And this is why the way that we cut the grain, like I was doing with all the other ones, we cut along with the grain of the paper, so you're able to get that cup shape like we've been doing with all the others, and that you get that perfect petal. So we want to do that with every petal, the smaller ones and the larger ones. If you find that the curve kind of unrolls once you start to pull it apart with your fingers and thumbs, just roll it back and forth in between your fingers and just pop that curve back in, and there you go. So we're going to sculpt all of those, and then we're going to attach those to our flower, working with the medium size, so the slightly smaller size first, filling in those gaps, and then we're going to move to the larger ones, and that's going to be pretty much our flower done, and then I'll show you guys how we can do the leaf. Okay, so I've just attached that last petal, and you can see how quickly that kind of comes together once you've sculpted all the petals, and it just looks so realistic. You can even ink it if you want to, so there's loads of options there, but I'm pretty happy with that. I might just add some florist tape just underneath to just combine all those petals underneath, just make it look really cohesive, but I'm pretty happy with that. And now the very last touch is to do your leaf if you're wanting to add those in. Because I'm doing a wreath, I'm going to keep my leaf separate, but sometimes if you're doing a bouquet, you can attach your leaf to the main stem of your flower if you like. So the way to do the leaf is you actually get half a leaf with your die cut. Don't be alarmed, it's meant to be like that, okay? And what you want to do is you actually want to cut with the grain diagonally almost. So you have your die diagonal and then the grain of the paper up and down, okay? And then we can actually flip this and have this way as well, okay? So I know it probably seems a little confusing, but once you get the hang of it and once you realize when you start to piece them together, it works, I promise. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to fold that in half. And this can mean that I can have them both cut at the same time. So I'm just going to check that I'm doing it correctly. So we're going to have it the other way. There we go. There we go. So we're going to have that cut like that, and then I'm going to roll that through my switch machine, but you can cut them separately if you prefer, but the switch machine should be able to cut the 2 layers of the crepe paper. Okay, so that's all cut, and then once you take it out, you're going to have 2 leaves with the grain of the paper diagonally on your leaf, okay? So let's just pull those apart. So we have it there and there, okay? So what you want to do now is you want to take an extra piece of wire from your flower accessory kit, and we're going to pop the wire on top in the very center with some hot glue. So I'm just going to run hot glue up the centre. Okay, apply my wire. Okay, try and get it as close to the edge as you can. And then we're going to apply another layer of hot glue just over the top. And then they're designed that they should sit on top of one another and cover that middle section, okay? So you shouldn't be able to see where you popped that wire in the center. And then you have your leaf with the veins of the paper, and it means that you've got a wire in the center so you can manipulate that leaf however you like, which is fantastic. It means it's going to hold its shape, it's not going to go floppy or anything like that. So we're going to leave that separately and then attach that into our wreath. But what you can do is with our florist tape, you can actually attach it to your flower if you're making a bouquet or anything like that. So that is our garden rose all finished. So I'm going to clear this all up and then we're going to move on to our daisy mix flower. So I've laid everything out that I need for that daisy mix flower. So this is the one that we're going to use. So I like to do a mixture of flowers if I'm doing a bouquet or a wreath or something like that. I think it just looks more realistic. So this is the daisy flower mix. Again, one of my designs for chapter 1. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the sculpting foam. So this is the bouquet set from our sculpting foam range, but we have multiple colours. I'm just going to use the lighter pinks and the whites and yellows because that's kind of look and feel that I'm going for. And what I love about this daisy flower mix is you actually get 2 different sizes and 2 different ways that you can actually make up your flower. So you have these ones that are whole pieces, so you have a larger and a smaller, so you can make a larger daisy and a smaller daisy, and these work great for paper or sculpting foam. But what you also get is you also get the petals separately, so kind of like we did with the garden rose, you actually get these, so that means that you can cut crepe paper super easily because you can cut with the grain. So compared to something like this, if you tried to cut that with crepe paper, some of these petals would be going against the grain of the paper. So I included both of those so you can do multiple different medias with your flowers, okay? But we're going to do sculpting foam today. I'm going to do the largest flower. So I've actually pre-cut the largest one about 4 or 5 times. I think I've done it 4. I wondered if I had another one there. From that, and then I've done the center section. So this is the center stamen section. There's also little circles in there as well. I've cut those from a light yellow. So before I apply any heat, which is what I'm going to use to manipulate the sculpting foam, I'm actually going to take our oil pastels and I'm going to apply some color to them. So there's a mixture of, I believe there's 12 different colours, and we're going to use those to apply some colour. So I'm just going to move these to one side. And with the stamens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dark yellow and I'm going to apply colour just to the very tips and then turn it over and go back along the other side. And then with these ones, I'm going to add some dark pink just from the centres and work my way out, and then I'm going to smooth it over with my finger, okay? Okay, so once you're happy with how they're all covered with the oil pastels, you don't have to be neat about this. So please don't be precious about it, because once we add the heat, the oil pastel is actually going to kind of melt on the sculpting foam, okay? So we're going to bring in our heat tool now. And what I'm going to do is I have got a glue gun accessory mat, the silicone sheet, down to cover my surface, protect it from the heat, and actually it's protected from all of the oil pastel that I've just put on there. So I'm going to take the tool that actually comes with that kit as well, hold it down, and then apply the heat, and you're going to see the sculpting foam kind of slightly shrink up, okay? You don't need to apply heat for long though. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that. And then with these ones, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them in between my fingers and my thumb and just create that effect. So I'm just going to do that with the other one. So those are going to be our center sections. And then with these ones, how we apply heat is we're just going to hold it in the center, apply our heat for a few seconds. Okay, not long at all. And then we kind of pinch it in the center so all the petals are facing the right way. And then in between our palms, rub back and forth. And it's going to create this really nice natural look to our petals. And then what you can do is really gently pull at each petal just to kind of shape it back out a little bit. Or what you can also do is you can take our ball stylus tool from our paper sculpting kit and you can actually kind of wrap it around that slightly, and that's going to create that ball effect. I think the bigger one actually works better for this. You could even use the mat if you wanted to, but while it's not hot, it's just ever so slightly warm, and you can actually just manipulate it back to create those cup shapes. But we like that kind of wild effect, and that just makes it look super natural. So I'm going to do that with all the petals, and then we're going to glue them all together. Okay, and there you have your finished daisy. You can kind of pull apart those stamens, make them nice and wide. You could even add more layers than what I've done to make it nice and full, but you get the idea how super natural with that sculpting foam those lovely daisies are. And obviously you can make the smaller ones with the smaller die as well. So now I'm going to bring back the flower that we made before, the bunny wreath. I'm going to pop on some fake foliage and I'm going to show you how to piece it all together and show you the final results. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to have everything ready, my flowers ready, and then I've got a selection of fake foliage that I'm going to add and make it look nice and full. I'm going to have a cluster of flowers kind of down the bottom and then maybe one at the top as well, and then we're going to finish it off with a little ribbon. So what I like to do is kind of arrange everything around the wreath. You can pop it through the actual wreath if you want to, or we can use some hot glue. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue, and then we can trim sections down, make it smaller if we need to. Whatever works, there's no right or wrong here, okay? Just kind of make your flowers the kind of center element and then have foliage coming out, okay? So again, that's attached to a wire, so I can have this wrapped around and make sure it's nice and secure, and then I can work my foliage around the outside. So we've got one there, and just keep going with little pieces of foliage and your flowers, and then we're going to have the final result. So once you keep going, obviously this one's a slightly bigger version, but you can see I've got extra flowers, I've got more foliage, I've even got some crepe paper daisies, and then what I like to do is just finish it off with a bow just to cover that little section where we've attached the two wreaths together. So I'll just hold them up so you get the idea. So that was the one that we were in progress. Obviously, if I carried on, then we'd end up with something like this. The only difference is the size and a couple more flowers and a little bit more foliage, and then that ribbon to finish it off. But the techniques are all the same. How I made the garden rose, the sculpting foam, daisies, and then like I said, I've even done some crepe paper daisies in there. But hopefully you enjoyed following along. I forgot to say it is actually craft month this month. So we are celebrating all this month with our Sizzix videos. So lots of spring, lots of floral inspiration. And please share your makes across all of our socials using that hashtag #MyMakingStory, because we are sharing all of our inspiration for craft month, and I can't wait to see what you guys get up to this month. So thank you again for joining me. If you did like any of the dies or anything that I used in this video, definitely go over and check out the website. It should all be on there. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. But until then, stay safe and keep crafting. Thanks, bye.